Hello everybody, welcome back to StutterBox. I'm Stutter, and this is a box. And this is the May edition of Runway magazine. On the cover is my good cousin Emily Charlton, and behind the cover a message from Emily herself to the audience. Bringing beauty and design into the world is about creating moments that feel considered. It's the smallest details that elevate the way people live, travel, and relate. Emily Charlton. Dior. Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, on my last Devil Wears Prada video, I said that Emily Charlton shares the same last name as my husband, therefore she's my cousin-in-law. That's family, and I will be defending her until the end of time. Because today, the situation for her isn't looking great. It's the Devil Wears Prada 2, 20 years in the making. And it shows. It's also Emily versus the world, Andy versus capitalism, Miranda versus the cafeteria. Was this just a cash grab? Probably. Was it worth it? Well, yeah, absolutely. Is it better than the first? Shut the fuck up. Why would you ask that? What's wrong with you? The movie's great, guys. Just not as good as the first one because you really can't top perfection. But you can take the sass out and put some laughs in to it. Guys, this movie was hee-hee-ha-haing all the way to the bank. $690 million at the global box office, and it's just women serving cunt. The gays and the girlies attack the cinemas to watch this and Obsession in mass, and these big-budget CGI established IPs were all flopping. Gay rights. The weird thing about the movie is that it gets better the more times you see it. Like, I liked it the first time around, but by the second time, I was really having fun. And by the third, I was having a hoot and holler. I was hooting and hollering. So let's hoot and holler together right after you subscribe down below. Because if you don't, the old unfashionable Andy's gonna come to your house and rearrange your wardrobe to make you dress like her. That's a threat. Also support my cousin, she did nothing wrong. The magazine is actually really well put together and includes all of these sections relating to different parts of the movie. It's literally like they turned the entire movie into a magazine issue. The first shot of the movie is exactly the same as the original, and it becomes very clear that 20 years have indeed passed. We've gotten older and lost all the contrast. Like, see what capitalism does to movies? Fun fact, they actually tried emulating the original look of the first movie, which was shot on film, and they added these contraptions to digital cameras to mimic as much as possible the same cinematography. And needless to say, it's not as bad as it seemed in the trailer, but it's also not good. Good from afar, but far from good. In the original, we get a montage of Andy getting ready at the same time as all the fashion it girls. But 20 years in the future, Andy is no longer a loser. She is in fact a stylish working woman waltzing through the city on her way to an awards event. Andy works for the New York Vanguard, and she's been nominated for a Gold Keyboard Award. Sorry. They call the awards Gold Keyboard. And she's been nominated for the piece Hearts of the City, Stories of Resilience. She's an accomplished journalist. Everybody clap. But then seconds before Andy is announced the winner, she and everyone in her team at her table get fired over text because the New York Vanguard's parent company is taking a $500 million write-down. So they're toast. Did they need the money? No. Just the year before, the CEO took home an $11 million bonus.
Electric chair.
Very convenient for her to be winning an award for excellence in journalism and to still get fired over text. Because at the end of the day, we're all fucked. Or as my people like to say, está tudo fodido. And you know what that means, right? She's gonna have to start promoting products on TikTok Live to make a living. And you'll be happy or pissed off to know, depending on how much you liked or hated this character, that Andy is still besties with Lily. Who I'm really happy to see, because I'm always happy to see the woman who played Joanne in the best musical ever, Rent. On the other side of town, an event is unfolding. It's nighttime and Nigel's Stanley Tucci, everyone's favorite man, speaks to Amari, newcomer to the franchise, about a PR crisis that's gonna hit the headlines any moment now. And Amari, as we'll learn, is the new Emily, Miranda's first assistant. And she is always serving lethal face card every shot she's in. They really ate with this casting. Outside the building, on the blue carpet, is a media frenzy out there. You'd think that Zendaya is about to show up. Psych! The icon, the living legend herself, Miranda Priestley, emerges from the car. And she is serving so much they had to restrict people's ability to see that night, or they would combust on the spot. How can you argue, though? I mean, look at the material, and let me ask the audience. Would you trust this woman to babysit your child? But it's a dog-eat-dog world, and the PR crisis hits the headlines anyway, even though they were promised a day or two. And it is Miranda Priestley fooled. Runway publishes glowing article about sweatshop clothing brand. Wait. What? A fashion magazine is platforming a brand that uses sweatshops? Oh, no. Get out of town. I am so shook. Estou chocado, não há palavras. Olha, how could this ever happen? Honestly, it's unthinkable, and I can't believe that Miranda was fooled. And the 411 is diabolical. They're blaming Miranda for everything. But this scene Don't worry about it. It's just an expert masterclass on how to serve cunt while doing damage control and keeping it together. In all seriousness, though, this is catastrophic. Plain and simple, a Miranda está fodida. She gets a call from Irv Ravitz, Runway's chairman and owner of the parent company Elias Clark, because he's getting calls from all kinds of advertisers complaining about the situation. Luckily, Jay, Irv's son, shows him a video of Andy's blow-up at the awards ceremony, defending the free press. Yes, girl! And they decide to hire her to be the head of features at Runway and hopefully bring back some credibility to the magazine. They need a serious writer, you know, not just someone who writes about fashion and cosmetics and beauty. And just before they called her, Andy was scrolling through the social media hellstorm that Miranda is going through. The memification of The Devil Wears Prada's Miranda Priestley and The Devil Wears Prada 2, all complete with an AI-generated image. I hate this world. Creating this image should be punishable by law. So Andy's offered the job and she consults with her friends because she would have to let go of her moral values and ethics to take this job because fashion is evil. And unsurprisingly, all of her unemployed friends have no problems in letting go of their morals a little bit if it means being able to pay the bills because the economy is fucked. And if there's ever a time to do dubious things for money, it's now. Like, you're in it. This is where you are. Fucked. This one goes even further because she's messy. She suggests Sandy write a book on Miranda Priestley and says that she can even speak to her editor and he will give her an offer of at least $100 grand. Miranda's that famous and that inaccessible to the audience. But Andy still has morals and she says no thank you to the book. For now. She does say yes to the job and she shows up to the office so fucking happy to see everyone. You wouldn't think that the last time she was here, she walked out of her job in the middle of a business trip on the other side of the ocean. Right. Nigel is happy to see her. Look what TJ Maxx dragged in. And Miranda doesn't recognize her. Sorry, who's this? Do you know her? Do I know her? Miranda also had no idea that Andy had been hired to be the new head of features. Irv went behind her back, and she's not happy about it. And the realization that Miranda has no idea who she is or that she's now working at Runway sends Andy back into her insecure little self. The self-conscious mumbling idiot who can't string a sentence together in front of Miranda. And Miranda fires the current head of features on the phone loudspeaker in front of Andy, Nigel, and Amari. So everybody knows that she's a monster who got someone fired. The trio jump in a car to go placate one of the advertisers who are really mad at the story. The advertiser is Dior, who make up 16% of their advertiser spend. And the head of advertising at Dior is none other than Emily. Ladies and gentlemen, scene stealer of the movie, some have said. Hi, I'm Some, and I said it. That's my cousin. She recognizes Andy immediately. You also know her? Well, we were at Runway at the same time, Miranda. Really? Where was I? She knows exactly where she was. She's funny like that. She's a comedian. Guys, she's giving everyone a giggle. And this meeting, brutal. First, Emily can't get over how remarkable it is that Andy is now a senior editor at Runway. She's probably the only one who remembers how Andy walked out of her job mid-business trip on the other side of the ocean during Fashion Week. Like, if you just hate life, just say so. Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just finish the week and then go home and quit, you know? She also knows that Andy's a lot more confident, but she kept those brows. She also strong-arms them into giving her and Dior a 5-page spread on their next issue to make up for the disaster that was the fast fashion situation. Because without advertisers, there's no Runway. No us, no you. And call her a gentle kitty cat, because Miranda just says, yes, we're on it. Unlike Miley Cyrus, Miranda can be tamed. And she has. Andy is shocked and questions Miranda, who says, we need our advertisers, Andrea. The September issue is already so thin, you could floss with it. I'm sorry. So thin you could floss with it, I'm gonna put that in my daily affirmations. She also tells Andy, less kindly, that she's just waiting for Andy to fail, because she will fail eventually. She's just the CEO's latest whim. And then she makes her take the train instead of giving her a ride. Andy and Nigel have lunch together, and he tells her all about how Runway has stopped being a magazine years ago. Sure, they still have the book, but they're online now. They're downloadable, they're streamable, they're in the ether. I hate the ether. Sure, we've come a long way, but at what cost? With the digitalization of everything and physical media going out of vogue? Get it? It's not good. It's just not good. We're losing art, we're losing soul, we're losing human labor, we're losing the very essence of what made art so enjoyable in the first place. We're speed running into the apocalypse one data center at a time. And budgets are in the toilet. For example, Nigel used to get 4 weeks in Africa with Avedon to shoot a glossy spread. Now he's lucky if he gets 2 days in a studio in town just to create content that people are gonna scroll through as they take their morning dumps. It's a shitty business. He also tells Andy that Miranda is very much on edge because she was about to be promoted to head of global content, but this whole fast fashion situation has threatened the whole thing. It might never happen now, which is a fucking disaster because she's been at this job for millennia. Do you know how many times she had to betray Nigel just to stay where she currently is? No, seriously, it's been a lot. Like, ever since Jacqueline, she's done that to him like 10 more times, and he's fine with it because he's a nice gay. And then, on her way back to the office, Andy sees a vision from hell. Miranda's hanging up her own coat? What? Andy learns through her new assistant that ever since Andy worked at Runway, there have been several complaints about Miranda's tyrannical behavior. Tyrannical? Tyrannical. It's a tyranny. So a lot has changed, and Miranda is no longer allowed to be the fully fledged Miranda. It's a Miranda erasure. Erasure of Miranda? I think you got it, yeah. So Andy writes the first feature, and it's like a piece of admission of guilt and promising to do better. And if you pause the movie at the right moment, you can actually read the article almost in full, and my favorite part is, Speedfash set up that tour specifically as a PR facade to prop up the brand's claims that it is the ethical, sustainable, more human alternative to the notoriously abusive fast fashion companies. Guys, come on. Speedfash is literally their name. So just to recap, the company called Speedfash created a PR tour to prove that they are better than fast fashion. Speedfash, better than fast fashion. Do you hear it? The article is published and reactions on Instagram are definitely interesting. Thank you, Runway. Please do better next time. This is an excellent apology. Runway, we forgive you. Not with today's internet, you don't. Guys, I read the article and it's like an apology, but also not an apology. It reads very corporate jargon. Like, I worked in PR, but I don't think you need to have worked in PR to know that this is not going to go away with one article. You just have to wait until the next worst thing comes up. Like, for example, Timothy Chalamet doing an advert with Calci, or Kylie Jenner promoting the Meta glasses. No one cares after a week, seriously. Andy points out a profile that Runway did of a power couple, the Barnes, back in 2007 before they got divorced. The wife is played by none other than Lucy Liu, and I love Lucy Liu. Like, the power that woman possesses simply by existing, you wouldn't get it. Her name is Sasha Barnes, and after she divorced her husband, Benji Barnes, she became one of the most wealthy women in the world and almost a shut-in. She practically disappeared from the public eye, and everyone has been trying to lock down an interview with her, Miranda Priestley included. But no one's been able to. And Benji Barnes used to look like that, but has since undergone the gay yassification of Silicon Valley. Think JD Vance when he went from disgusting deplorable to slightly less disgusting deplorable thanks to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel spelled C-U-N-T. Or when Jeff Bezos went from repugnant parasite to slightly more muscular repugnant parasite. My new favorite scene is Andy standing right outside Miranda's office trying to wave at her and Miranda looking her dead in the eye and then just looking away. Here's one of the reasons why Runway magazine might be failing as a magazine. This was a photo shoot they did with vintage Mugler and Westwood, and I feel clinically depressed after looking at it. So the intention was dull and listless, and the models were encouraged to mill around like starving goats in the parking lot of a methadone clinic in New Jersey. In this meeting, someone suggests creating an interactive app where people can mix and match their clothing, like, for example, a hiking shoe or a bum bag. A bum bag. May my suicide be brief and painless. And Amara keeps whispering to her that she's not allowed to say those things. But she says them anyway. And when Andy tries interjecting in the meeting to talk about the critical reception of her piece, Miranda says she's there to write pieces that people will read. And once she does that, she will be allowed to interrupt the meeting and talk. But until then, And just like in the first movie, Andy goes to Nigel to bitch about Miranda's attitude. And much like in the first one, Nigel tells her to grow up. Or as my people would say, zemerdet, which literally means unshit yourself. And that's poetry. Cue montage of Andy writing articles, losing sleep over them. She's working at home. She's working at a kid's tea party. She's bringing in her friends for consultation. She's riding on the train. And the thing about the pieces, they are really good and very well written according to several different characters in the film. 20 years ago, this would have hit like crack. Now? Who wants to read well thought out pieces when you have doom scrolling of AI slop to get through? Because it's not just about writing good articles, it's about writing articles that people actually want to click on and read. The the world of content creation. Andy visits Emily's store to do the profile on the big opening. Okay, quick catch up. Emily is divorced, has 2 kids, and one of them is called Bronwyn. And I just imagine her in 40 years flipping table on a reality TV show. Andy's never married and had her eggs frozen 15 years ago. She's been listening to that really famous song on loop, the one that starts with, "Where have all the good men gone?" When asked why she left Runway because she idolized Miranda, Emily says, "Luxury retail is the only sector of the fashion business that still makes money. That's it. Retail." And I can unfortunately confirm that this is very much true. As I said, Andy's stories are good, but they're simply not getting enough clicks. So Irv chews Miranda's ear out. He's like, "You need to do something about this," even though Andy is his hire, not Miranda's. Understandably, Miranda's pissed and she confronts Andy and tells her. Irv's getting impatient. Andy's like, "But we can all agree that some of these pieces are worthwhile." Worth whose while? And in a moment of panic, Andy panics and says that she has an interview locked down with Sacha Barnes. Oh, that got Miranda's attention, which is unfortunate for Andy because she doesn't actually have an interview with Sacha Barnes at all. So she puts her journalist shoes on, finds Sasha's number, and marathons a series of calls begging her for an interview. Like, this girl is begging and humiliating herself. Oh my God. And for reasons unknown, Andy also gets a romantic side plot with this guy. She goes to see some apartments in a new building and she meets the contractor. His name is Peter. He's Australian. For some reason is here. Part of me thinks that they were trying to redeem the horrible, atrocious example of a boyfriend that she had back in 2006. But here's the thing. No. The good news is the romantic side plot is interrupted by some even better news. Andy got the interview. And she runs across New York City to tell Miranda, to tell Mommy all about it. "See, Mummy, I'm not as worthless as you said I was." Sacha Barnes, turns out, is super charitable and plans to eventually give everything she has away. And she actually agreed to do this interview because she read some of Runway's latest articles and said that they have a lot more gravitas, an actual point of view. And Andy, look at that stupid smile on her face. She is such a teacher's pet. It's unbelievable. Can't take her anywhere. Sacha also bonds with Miranda because Miranda hasn't asked her a single question about her ex-husband, but that's because Miranda also knows not to define herself by her failed marriages. Because she's also got one. Can we just look at this diabolical shot of whatever is in the background of Lucy Liu? Like, what are we doing here? What is this? Oh my, what is the point? Either it was too expensive to film this with an actual view behind her, which, oh my God, like, it's The Devil Wears Prada 2. You guys have Disney money now. Don't piss me off. Or it was a creative choice to blur everything in the back so much that you can't tell if she's floating in front of a green screen or if she's actually on site. Sacha ends up giving them the biggest scoop of her life. She is engaged now, and she wants Miranda to break the story. Women helping women. Yes. And Miranda decides to run this as their main story, because it's a good-ass story. As Nigel puts it, this is what Runway does best. The story is an unbridled success, of course, and Andy gets invited by Miranda to spend the weekend at the Hamptons house that she owns. Guys, the house that Meryl Streep's character lost in The Prom is the house that Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada 2 owns. It's a crossover. It's a StutterBox crossover. It's a Studover. Oh God, that was bad. Andy asks Nigel for help because obviously she has nothing good enough to wear to Miranda's house, to a party. And he says he once put a whole suite of summer looks for RBG, and she slayed. RBG? Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Okay. She ends up seeing a dress that she absolutely falls in love with and has to beg Nigel to let her wear it because it's so good and it's so expensive, it cannot have a single fucking stain on it. And then it cuts to the dress. You know what? It's cute. And I like the colors, and I like that you can wear this at any stage in your maternity journey. Miranda introduces her to a bunch of people at this party, and I can't tell if these are real celebrities or made-up celebrities for the film, but everyone has read Andy's pieces, everyone is raving about them, she's being showered with so many compliments. It's a good thing that she wore this dress to fit her inflating ego. And at this party, Miranda reveals that she's finally getting promoted to head of global content for all Elias Clark publications, a promotion that's going to be announced in the upcoming celebration of the 75th of Elias Clark, of course. And they might even increase the budget for features, so like it's a win-win situation for everyone involved. And it's all thanks to Andrea Sachs. Guys, this is serious. This promotion is serious. Miranda is close to tears. Do you know how many times this woman has been close to tears? Once, back in 2006 when she was getting divorced from her husband. Look at how she's walking away, swiveling left and right. Oh, Miranda, don't let people see you like this. they'll think you're human. And in the romantic side plot, Andy ends up moving into one of the apartments and then she goes on a date with Peter. But also, who gives a fuck about this guy? It's the big gala and everyone is dressed to the nines, and I swear to God, every time they have an event in this movie, there's a barrage of glorified cameos and influencers. The crisis in Hollywood is getting severe. Guys, disgusting reveal of the evening. Remember Benji Barnes, Sasha Barnes' ex, who went from disgusting slob to slightly better groomed disgusting slob? Guess who he's dating? Emily Charlton. What are you doing? I know that I'm legally and spiritually and contractually obligated to defend Emily Charlton at all costs, but she's not making it easy. Benji Barnes? Guys, that's the equivalent of dating Elon Musk, and you don't really do that unless you've lost all sense of respect for yourself as a person. Oh God. Emily needs someone to talk to. She was dropped as a baby. She is every girl that never spoke to him in high school. Oh, Nigel, say that to her face. I dare you. And she's the type of wife who's constantly training him to be more human presenting in front of other people because she knows how fucking weird he is. She has to sleep with him. She understands. Also, if we really think about it, this is kind of the natural expected progression for a character like Emily Charlton. Like, it's a big downgrade to who she used to be, but it's also the expected development of who she used to be. And you're never gonna believe what happens to this really old man who's minutes away from announcing Miranda's promotion to everyone at this gala. He drops dead. Oh God, it's a crisis. Oh no. It was a heart attack. Guys, it was a heart attack. And Miranda has seen yet another boss of hers die. Miranda and Elias Clark CEOs is like Queen Elizabeth II and American presidents. She's on her third owner of Elias Clark, this time Jay Ravitz, Irv's son, who starts talking shop at his dad's funeral. You know what they say, no day but today. Emily is also at this funeral, and she's also super upset that Dolce dressed everyone at this funeral. Look around. This is their 26 Fall collection. The mystery now is, what will Jay do to Runway? He finally shows up with a plan, and he wants to have lunch with Miranda. Miranda's first inclination, because she is a human with standards, is to book a restaurant, because that's how she usually conducts business. But Jay says the cafeteria is fine. I'm sorry, what? The what? Guys, Miranda didn't know that they had a cafeteria. Miranda's never been to the floor where the cafeteria is. So much so that she gets there and everyone stops eating and looks up. It's like a vision from hell. It's like watching the Pope ride a bicycle in public instead of his Pope mobile. You'd stop what you're doing too to check. Is he okay? The saddest, but also the most realistic part about this movie is that Miranda's no longer allowed to be Miranda. She has no power here. Sure, she runs Runway, or she used to, but she's always at the mercy of bosses, higher-ups above her. And you shouldn't restrict the creative power and artistic vision of a visionary like this, you know? Miranda's shackled. She should never be shackled. In fact, no woman should ever be shackled, but, you know, conversation for another day. Jay brought a bunch of consultants to basically come up with a plan to restructure the company in a way that maximizes its profits and reduces costs, capitalism, etc., etc. Because in the world of business and whatever else these guys are involved in, there's zero appreciation for art or human value or human input. It's all about money, 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 number, number, number. Andy's assistant, Jin, and overall not a fashion girly working at Runway Magazine, the fashion magazine, drops her phone under the table to record the entire conversation so Andy can hear what the plans are for the company. And the plans are diabolical, world-ending, fashion is over. They're gutting every department. Features, fashion, beauty. What else is left? Anyone who's been at the company for more than 5 years, too expensive to keep, they're out. And then the people that actually stay are going to be downsized to the smallest teams possible so that it can just remain a digital magazine. And then what happens? Because you know they're going to start using AI chatbots to write the articles and to create the images and the photo shoots and everything else. Oh my God. Real life, there have been newspapers who have published articles written entirely by AI. What do you mean? They're running Runway into a ditch, and Miranda said absolutely nothing. Because again, Miranda has no power. Miranda tá fodida. Andy naturally has a bit of a meltdown talking to her new beau about how this can't go on, you know, constantly gutting companies and restructuring it and then gutting them again and restructuring, and this endless cycle, this vicious cycle that is ruining everything. And it was at that moment that I realized I'm the Andy Sachs of my life. This new boyfriend of hers isn't as bad as the original, but I mean, he's not much better because he's like, oh, well, you're just describing what I did to this building. Why are we talking about you now? Keep your business in your lane, and no one asked you, no one cares. In fact, you're not being very helpful by talking about how gutting companies and skinning them alive for profit is a good thing because that's what you did to this building. Shut up! It pisses me off because these are the same people that are like, we can't fight AI. We might as well develop and learn with it and make it a tool at our disposal. Because everyone is going to be using it anyway. We might as well just catch up to it. Fuck you! Oh, shut up! All these people keep saying that AI is coming and we need to keep up with the times. No! AI is not coming! You're bringing it! If you weren't talking about it and vouching for it and promising to use it to keep up with the times, then it wouldn't come! Stop making deals with AI platforms and software. Stop trying to improve AI tools and use them the best way that you can whilst still maintaining human. Just stop! We're killing the fucking planet! One day we won't have drinkable water, but at least we'll have AI avatars of our morning alarm clocks. Andy has a little disagreement with Peter, and she kicks him out. And honestly, good for you. Who cares about this man? Let him go. Back at work, and the budget cuts are affecting a fashion show they're doing in Milan. So everyone, Miranda included, have to fly to Italy in economy. Oh, the horrific sightings of her flying surrounded by crying babies. Emily's also in Italy with her gross, disgusting boyfriend, and Andy decides to meet her in secret because she has a plan to hopefully save Runway. And she goes to meet Emily and Benji Barnes in this absolutely outrageous updo. I did say the meeting was secret, and I think that keeping a low profile would be paramount in this situation, but Andy had to slay a little harder, and it made me a little bit gayer. So thank you, Andy. The idea to save Runway is for Benji to buy Elias Clark from Jay, and then he's gonna keep Miranda as the editor-in-chief of the magazine. Somehow Andy believes that this is gonna happen. But I want to bring attention to the fact that he says he's not doing water anymore because he likes to operate on an aqua deficit, because water is poison. And that is the standard level of intelligence of all billionaires of the world. Those are the people stealing money directly from your pockets. Aqua deficit operating people. Couldn't have made it up. The team visit the venue where they're holding a special dinner, and it's got a huge, giant painting of the Last Supper. And Miranda gives Andy a very vague speech about how we all end up betraying each other because we're all as glorious as we are fallible. Oh, the proverbial metaphor that applies to the story that we're currently watching unfold. Using a piece of recognizable art painted by a famous painter about one of the most famous men in history. Jesus Christ. It's camp, I like it, leave me alone. Cut to Andy running through the streets of Milan, because she needs to tell Emily that Miranda knows. And she finds Emily at a restaurant eating al fresco with none other than Donatella Versace. Guys, Versace is in the house. At one point, Emily tells Donatella, "Me dai un momento, perché sei sempre così impaziente, Donatella, per favore." Oh, that Italian was a chop, both mine and hers. Choppity chop chop. Fun fact, did you know that Emily Blunt has a stutter in real life? And she's actually worked through it with acting. Some of us were not as lucky as that, but I'm happy for you. They decide to tell Miranda now, and sweet, naive Andy really thinks that she's saving Runway. But Miranda knows better, and she reveals the ultimate double-crossing unfolding right in front of her. Benji's not buying Runway for Miranda to keep her job. He's buying Runway for Emily. Emily Charlton Villain II. Emily says she's younger and fresher, and yes, Miranda was great, but she's exhausted now. She's been at it for decades. Exactly what they were trying to do to her 20 years ago. Have we learned nothing from the past? No one can do this job better than Miranda. But this is also revenge, because Miranda had Dior hire Emily to get rid of her. Why did you do that? For the same reason that you should never be in charge of Runway, Emily. Because you are beautiful and you're intelligent, but no, you don't have what it takes. I'm sorry, but you're not a visionary. You're a vendor. That's all. Ooh, oh, that hurt. And Emily can't even argue with that because deep down she agrees with her. She knows that it's true. She's not a visionary. She doesn't have what it takes to lead. She can follow, though. And she'll always have that little voice in the back of her mind saying, "You're not good enough." And that voice sounds exactly like Miranda. Andy's feeling super regretful over her perceived betrayal of Miranda, and that's when her messy friend from earlier calls. See, earlier in the movie, Andy was feeling uncertain about her future at the company or even the company's future in general. So she decided to write a few pages of the book on Miranda's life and a pitch, a proposal, a book proposal, a book posal. I'm not doing it. And she decided to make it a good book instead of just the trashy tabloid version that she thinks everybody wants to read. So her messy friend calls back because her editor read the pages, read the proposal, and he loved it. Loved it so much, they didn't offer $50K. They didn't offer $100K. They offered $350,000. In this economy? inject it directly into my veins, please. But Andy has morals, and now she has a guilty conscience, and she can't bring herself to write a book that could potentially destroy Miranda's career, or whatever little is left of it. It's dinner time, and what is Benji talking about, you ask? Mars is old news, and so is the moon, and he plans on building a spaceship, call it Icarus, and fly it to the sun. Fucking moron. He also tells Miranda the day will come when Runway will no longer need photographers or models or writers. It'll all just be AI. And you know, it sounds like a really bad parody of itself, but it's not. It's sad because it's true. AI in data centers, guys. Who needs drinking water when you can make fake Ring camera videos? Yeah, they're a thing now. It's a huge niche. A moment of appreciation for Miranda walking through the completely empty Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. In the original, her personal life was also a fucking disaster and she was going through a divorce. Well, luckily in this one, she has a very loving and supportive husband, played by Kenneth Branagh, and he sort of reminds her who the fuck she is. So the next day, refreshed and with a new plan in mind to save Runway, Miranda tasks Andy with another marathon of calls while she attends fashion shows. Well, yeah. The fashion show starts, and it's definitely something. Yeah. Now, because of budget cuts, they also had to cut their musical act, who was going to be John Legend, because he wanted them to fly in his piano, and that was just too expensive. So Miranda is forced to ask someone to perform, someone she absolutely fucking hates and has real beef with, and it's none other than a fictionalized version of Lady Gaga. And these two hate each other, and I'm personally on Team Miranda because Lady Gaga's been real quiet about what's happening in the last 2 years, right? Well, I'm glad she could find her voice for this. Miranda's plan works and Andy rushes to tell her, but they don't have time. They have to go right now to set whatever deal they've got cooking in place. Miranda's set to give a speech, so Andy says, why don't you let Nigel deliver it? Because he wrote it and, you know, he's been wanting to do more this entire time. And that's when Miranda realizes that she has probably been underappreciating Nigel, that she hasn't realized that maybe she's limiting his career, which is a realization that comes at a very interesting time when I guess, are we trying to redeem Miranda and show that she's not as evil as she was shown in the first movie? Because that's part of the charm. Miranda has a nice moment with Nigel and appreciates everything that he does for her and then tasks him with delivering the speech, and he does beautifully, whilst Miranda and Andy go back to the US of A. And they're headed to their new benefactor because it's like Emily said earlier in the film, it's about who has the means to save Runway. And who have we met earlier in the film that has a lot of wealth and a penchant for good and for helping other women? Sacha Barnes. Yeah! Women saving women, feminism makes a comeback. Cut to Emily with her disgusting gross bow, and it's so funny because she's making all these plans of what she's gonna do at Runway, and Jay is there having a meal with them, and then Jay gets a phone call, steps away from the table for like less than a minute, strikes a deal on the phone, and then goes back to the table. Actually, guys, I just sold it. Bye! And Emily goes from planning her entire brilliant future to literally losing everything. The Brits keep losing in this movie, and I gotta say, love to see it. Sorry, it's not my fault that she took a page out of the British government and started lining herself with disgusting billionaires. That's what you get when you strike deals with unwashed parasites. You get maggots. And Sacha Barnes is all in. She tells Miranda, you have all the resources you want. Show the world what you can do. The Devil Wears Prada 3. Who said that? And another parallel to the original movie, Miranda and Andy share a ride back home, but this time it's not as bitter as it was originally. Miranda actually thanks Andy because Andy really woke her up and then encourages her to write the book. $350K is nothing to sneeze at. Of course she knows. Something like this happens, people run to tell you. And she wants Andy to write the full truth. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That includes how demanding she is, how impatient she is, how much of her children's lives she's missed out on, because she wants people to know that to get to where she is, there's a cost, and she wants people to know what the cost is. Andy reconciles with her man, sure, whatever. She then meets Emily for a coffee. Emily, whom Benji has just broken up with. Cannot believe that she's the one who got broken up with, but hey, now she's a blonde. And she apologizes to Andy for her behavior and her betrayal, but Andy doesn't even hold it against her. She knows how the industry is, and besides, Miranda's no fucking saint. In fact, Miranda would have done exactly the same thing to Emily if she could have. The difference is Emily doesn't actually have what it takes to run the magazine and Miranda does. So it's like, yeah, It's tricky. But Emily says that people were so mean about her French, and I wish they had been mean to you about your Italian, because that was terrible too. Andy tells Emily that she will soon enough find something that she actually wants to do and tells her, "You are iconic." Yes, Emily Charlton, cousin-in-law, you are iconic, and I will always, always defend you in your endeavors, no matter how silly or British they seem at first. Also, they're going to be friends. They're going to be pals. And at the very end, we find out that it was actually Nigel who suggested Andy to Irv when the company was going through it, because he knew that Andy could come in and save the day. And she kind of did. And now the divas work together. The end. I do think the movie lost some of the edge of the original and replaced it with a lot more humor. But I also kind of understand why. It's almost like a victim of its own success, that it has created such a massive cultural impact in its past. There was a lot of pressure to outdo itself, and so they kind of went a little bit harsh on some parts, like the fashion show. Surprisingly, though, I found it extremely enjoyable. Like, it doesn't, again, have the punchiness or the edge of the original, but you don't really miss it because everything else is so much fun. I also like that they take the time to critique the media situation right now, because it's not good. Like, at least it wasn't just a cash grab where they just bring the characters for the sake of bringing them back. At least they give everyone a good arc, a good story arc, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everyone has growth. Everyone shows different sides of themselves in this movie. They have some nice additions to the cast. Amari, absolutely love her. Fierce that they actually gave a damn and tried to make it good, and they made it good. And for that, thank you. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you have any thoughts that you cannot wait to share with the class, do it. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That'd be rude. And click that bell notification so you never miss a future upload from me. And also follow me on all my socials. They're all linked down below. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys. Fado adormecer com a dor. Fado só quando a saudade vem.